Right. Well, this is about as good as the data is going to get here, man. I have seen some other platforms having issues as well. What a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of data comes from the same source. The financial industry. This is a little bit different, of course, but like a lot of people, when you get false news that gets pushed out, it all comes from one source, and you get people freaking out saying, no, the price of X stock is this on this broker, but it's also on this broker, so it must be real. No, it's because they're getting it from the same source, and it's an error. All right, let's get into it here, man. So we are going to be dealing with a gap here in the data. So let's see what we have in store, baby. We can deal with that. That is no big deal. All right, minute 43 here. Now, as far as bar numbers, they're not going to be correct because we have data issues. So we will just talk in terms of current bar. We'll have to do the best we can as far as being descriptive. But it's Pharaoh Friday, man. We got to make the best of it. Okay, so what we're missing here is 4 or 5 5-minute bars. Now, I remember what they looked like. We had a couple of larger bare bodies. Well, we had one large bare body coming into the 20, and then bar 7 rolled over and tried to make a push. And from there, I forget, up until we get to what should be bar... I don't know, this bar should probably be bar number 10. I mean 9. Probably 10. So, we just gotta do the best we can. The good news is, we didn't really do a whole lot of meaningful trading. It was all kind of inside of the range on the data that we're missing. At least I think it was. Am I the only one here, by the way? I know it's not on my end. I restarted everything a couple of times, and here we still have this. So, am I the only one? Am I the only one with data issues here today? You guys are making me feel kind of alone in this, man. Yeah, you guys are all gonna come flex your fucking perfect data. We get it. Come on, bar 12. All right, 250 out here from the close. We'll see what we end up with here. ATR sitting at... My ATR number might be a tad off. Because I have 7 bars since the gap. My ATR number looks back 10, but I know that it's reasonably close. If it's off, it's got to be close, because the difference in size between 3, 4, and 5 versus 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, and 8 might have been a little bigger. So yeah, ATR might be closer to 65 or 70. Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. Within the next 2 or 3 bars, my ATR will be up to date and perfectly fine. So that's no big deal. All right, minute 38 out here from the close of bar. I might, throughout the stream here, refer to it as what I have on my screen. Just understand that's wrong. But I'll do my best. Habit. Okay. So we've got 358 here till the close of this body. Are we just in a big, huge days range wide trading range? Is my thought here. So let's see how this bar closes up. Oh, by the way, you guys probably haven't seen these yet. I don't know, maybe you have. Between the time I ended the last stream to try to fix the data issues and started this one, Apex went 80% off. They were 50% off, and now they're 80. Code big, baby. So they just launched that new deal. It's 80% off single day pass over at Apex. Okay, halfway through this bar here. All right, Bears. All right, so we've got 12 and then 13. You got 10, 11, 12. Very short-lived single-bar trading range. So if 13 closes clean, would it be the highest quality setup I've ever seen? No. Would it be in my wheelhouse enough to put on? Yeah. Yeah, it would. Let's just make sure 13 doesn't grow too much here on me. Oh, man. All right, I'm gonna pop over. Get my copy trader engaged and see how we can close up here on this bar. Place him. Beautiful placement. And let's see if I can get a fill. No fill yet here on the open of 14. I'll give it 25 total. 2 seconds. No fill, no trade. Gotta pull it. Gotta pull it. Bunch of babies! Bears don't want it, man. If they don't want it, I don't want them. Look at that. Bull's taking it right back higher. Yeah, so the market is, I mean, we're in a trading range, but it's a big trading range, and we're seeing we're seeing a damn near 100-point bar inside of a big, huge trading range. So we got to keep an eye on that. Got to keep an eye on that. Now I have enough data filled in here now, and I know enough about what happened during my gap in data here Yeah, data issues. If you're just joining us here today, we've had data issues today as well as the last few days. A lot of people have. Less so today, but I still am for some reason. That I'm comfortable. I know enough about what happened in that gap, and I have enough context now here on filled-in bars that I'm in the driver's seat at this point. So let's see what we get here on this bar. Try to backfill that whole bar 13 on my screen. Tendo says, I noticed RAM works extremely well when it's trending. Yes, sir, that's not an accident. Listen, the entirety of RAM is, hey, let's do the best to understand the context, and then let's take logical trades, be disciplined, and patient. All of which is done to try to maintain positive expected value. It's a very logical thing. Which is kind of who I am, so I have made it that way. Oh, you balls! Killing me here, man. Come on now, give me a setup. Give me a setup. Jose, it would be nice to get sort of a best practice guide to trading RAM, even though watching your vids is awesome. Yeah, listen, there'll be plenty of content here coming out in the near future here on the YouTube channel. The fastest, cleanest, most organized way is always going to be the tomb. But, you know, it's not like I'm that guy that's like, I'm going to paywall everything. I don't really give a shit. If you want to pay to have it be better and faster, you're saving time, which is what I believe in. But I think paywalling the information is stupid, which is why I say everything on stream. But for me, it's like, whenever I've been like, okay, it's time to buy something, it's so that I can go faster, right? That makes logical sense. I've never bought something because someone was like, here's 3 minutes of information. You want the last 9 minutes? Pay me for it. It's like, fuck you, bro. Like, no. So that's the structure, man. Take it as you will. All right, 2.5 minutes out here. Okay, coming right into the high end of this trading range. We're minute 50 out. I gotta tell you, it's very frustrating not having the proper bar labels. It's messing with my natural verbiage. But that's okay. Doesn't change anything as far as context. So, close of this bar, we'll say, coming into the high end of this trading range inside the wick high of here and the wick high of 5. Now my question is, with 13 putting in an aggressive low the way that it did, 13 on my chart, does this turn into, are we able to break the wick high of 5 and turn this into a soft bull channel rather than a big full day trading range? That's my look right now. Let's see. Question here, is context saying short this bar? Well, there's a lot to unpack there. Context is the first tier, but to answer your question in the quickest way possible, context to me, well, let me explain it this way. I'm not a fan of limit order reversion scalps in sideways trading ranges, and I'm not a fan of, for example, shorting a big bull body closing in the upper third of any trading range, especially a sideways trading range. Now, a trade that I would take is a small to moderate bull body closing in the upper third of a soft bear channel, using a previous obvious wick high or curl to manage risk, as long as I can make logical sense of it. Now, a lot of you probably listen to that, you're like, wow, that actually sounds kind of reasonable and logical. Yeah, no shit, big dog. I think you'll find very quickly, RAM is not this big hand-wavy thing. It's just, I built it for me, dude. Like, this wasn't built. It was built because I was pissed. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm figuring this out now. So I spent time putting together everything that works for me, putting in all the rules necessary that help me, and removing all the rules that are hand-wavy garbage. All right. So, do I have, I think I do. Yep, ATR is 65. That ATR should be accurate now, since I have 10 bars before the data gap, or I guess after the data gap here. And we'll watch the close of this bar here, 250 out. All right, we got the close of this bar. If we can close outside the wick high of 5, that would be the early trade. But since we're in a brutal full-day trading range, and coming into 25,000, which is an S-tier level for the first test here of the New York session, I'll be waiting for the next body. see this? Bull struggling. Take out that wick high of 5. They're hesitating. Bears know that they want to try to keep this big trading range. Now, does that mean, okay, well, if... Now, see, this is what I love about some of you guys. You're logical like me. So you think, okay, if this bar closes inside the wick high of 5, doesn't that show weakness? Should I short it? First of all, I applaud you. The logic makes sense for me. It doesn't make sense for me. The logic makes sense, period. New sentence. For me, comma, if this closes inside the wick high of 5, it's like, okay, that makes logical sense. I could short it because the reward to risk is tremendous. The problem is, where do I manage risk? That has always been my problem with sideways trading ranges, which is why I don't really take limit order reversion scalps in sideways trading ranges, whether they're tight or large. Okay, unless I get in this case, an actual 2 to 3 bar short setup, because then I can use the signal body to manage risk. Here, you could short it and risk the wick high of this bar, but for me, the reward to risk on that is like 10 to 1, and the probability isn't really in my wheelhouse. Because as you ask for a bigger reward to risk, what happens to probability naturally? Even if you have edge, it goes way down. And yes, that's correct. 25K, that also makes things a little more complicated. Because what you could see is a little pop through 25. That's an added factor. I'm just not into it. Which means I wait for this bar here. But we did close inside the wick high 5. By the way, while we're waiting here, feel free to drop in the chat anything you'd like to see further explained or discussed in a YouTube video, and I'll be happy to take it under consideration. Obviously my specialties are going to be more like RAM stuff, price action, psychology, discipline, emotional control, stuff like that. So whatever you think, man. If you have an idea, drop it. But we need to see this bar. Let's see, man. Let's see if we can close outside the wick high of this bar. About to call it 16. That's incorrect. Okay, so I'll tell you what, we're 42 seconds out. This body is not very large. This would be if it closes outside the wick high of the previous body, or the previous bar. This would be the first bar outside of the trading range technically, but the body's so small that the risk is tight. Which means it's the early trade, but since the risk is so small, I'm cool putting it on. So 20 seconds out, I will... About damn time. Go ahead and get my copy trader engaged. 10 seconds. ATR 64. Place that guy for the rollover. Tad early. Pop through. Give me a fill. Beauty. Got my fill. Only going to go ahead and risk. Wick low 17. And that's fine. Let's see. Now for me, that's more of a lower probability, higher reward to risk trade. Okay, Bear's trying to pull us back into the range. It's fine. Let's see if they can take out the wick low of 17. And by the way, my profit target on here would be a full R, which is almost 2R. Well, Bull's having a little trouble here so far. ATR 61. Alright, there's the open of the next bar here. Let's see if the Bulls got anything. ATR 59, going for a full ATR, which is damn near 2R on this trade here. About halfway to target. 250 left here on this candle. Bears weaken it back here. Okay. About a minute 15 out here from the close of this bar. I'll see if there's anything I need to do as far as stop management. I mean, we'll see how how clean this closes. 10 seconds here till the close. Kind of a wiki close here, most likely. Yep, see that? Right inside the wick high of, well, on my screen, bar 18, but it's not, because I have that gap in data, right? So, nothing I can do there as far as bar-by-bar stop management, or any management, so I let it sit. Well, Bear's trying to glue us to 25k here. But me, I gotta let it sit. Again, target here is a full ATR. ATR now sitting at 56. Let's see if the bears here can take out the wick low of my signal body. Well, they couldn't do it on this bar. Bear is hesitating a little bit on this bar as well. At best so far here, I've been, what, maybe 30 points in the money? Not enough. Alright, next bar here. See if the bulls can actually give us a real move this time, man. ATR is 54. Target's still a full ATR. Well, I think at some point everyone kind of comes to the realization this is day trading, man. And eventually, whatever that P&L number says, man, you're just kind of here doing your job. You know, it's not all adrenaline and fist fights, though we wish it was, don't we? We all got soft and moved upstairs from the trading floor, I think. What happened to the 80s, you know? Alright, bulls. ATR 55. Let's close at 21. Yeah, I mean, that's outside. Well... Yeah, I have to move my stop. I have to. Because we popped through the Wikai at 21 right away. So, see if the Bulls can get this done relatively quickly. ATR is now down to 51. Man, what a crazy reward to risk. It was like that since the entry if you're just joining us. Well, ATR is 51 to 52. See if the Bulls can get it up through. News up 2K. Good work. All right, new candle here. ATR now down to 47. .48 on the ATR. .49. Bulls taking their sweet time, man. ATR right now sitting at 49. I've been damn close, not quite. ATR back to 51 here. As you open up a new bar. HR 47. Oh, it's all over. I'm sized way down. I'm sized way down. Just because volatility's been so crazy. Obviously, it's not so crazy anymore now that we've been in this trade for a while. But yeah, my size is quite a bit smaller than typical per account right now. I've got 1 micro in like all my accounts. Which is way smaller than normal. Usually I'm between 2 and 5. At least in like a newer, for example, 50K. In a 150 or a 300, I might trade 5 more typically, or a mini in a 300. But most people trade way too big. Scale horizontally. At least with prop. Jesus balls. We don't have time for this. ATR 48. My risk is managed. Not too much bar by bar action I can do at this point. All right, ATR sitting 44. Oh, man. All right, ATR 45. New bar? All right, see if the Bears can take out the Wicklow of 21. It's about damn time, huh? All right, let my copier flatten here. Okay, so ATR came into 44, 43 at the end, I think at best. Now, I operate on a moving ATR basis as far as profit target, in a trade like that. At best, I was maybe, like 45 points in the money. But at that point, ATR was like still above 50. So I did my job. Let's move on. And the market's getting slow, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. Don't they know it's Pharaoh Friday? I want to see an ATR of 80. All right, I'll be back. Couple minutes. Don't you go anywhere. What's up? Welcome back. All right. So, we've got this next bar here, 4.5 minutes out. Okay, so you guys were asking questions, by the way. Apex has a new deal, right? They just launched it like an hour ago. It's 80% off, single day pass with code BIG. Here are the details. Resets are 50 bucks. Okay, so depending on the account size, you want to pay attention to that, whether you reset the account or just buy a new eval if you fail the eval. All right, if it takes you more than a month, it's 50% on the recurring, so try to pass those evals within the first month. And one-time activation fees, lifetime activation fees. The 25k through 100k accounts are 75 bucks, and the 150s through the 300s are 95 bucks, which are indeed discounted. So it's a pretty good deal, man. Code BIG, B-I-G. All right, 3:30 out. Let's see how this bar closes up. ATR is falling hard. Look at the range on these bars. It's falling quick. No, that activation fee, that's the lifetime. The lifetime activation fee. So when you pass the eval at Apex, it's 75 to activate it forever, and then you don't pay again. And it's 95 for the 150 to 300s. Does anybody actually ever do the monthlies? I'd never do the monthly activation fees. I always would pay the lifetime. It would only make sense to do the monthlies if you're blowing accounts every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if the lifetime wasn't discounted, which it currently is. All right, minute 55. All right. 35 seconds out here from the close of this bar, struggling with the wick high. See that? Close inside the wick high of, it's labeled 23 here on my chart, though that's incorrect because I have the data gap. So let's see how this next bar closes. Oh, man. ATR's beneath 40. Okay, well, what we have here is you could draw this a number of ways. I would probably draw it like that. You could draw it like this, same thing. And if we're able to come lower, especially take out like the wick low of 27, test this low, all of a sudden we've got this going on. 20 EMA also sitting there, so to turn this into an honest soft bull channel, the bulls need to take this thing higher considerably and then pull it back and put in another low, obviously above the wick low of 26, 27 on, as it shows on my screen. So right now we're kind of in this wedge, convincingly above 25, but I gotta tell you, now that we're through it, I really don't care. I'll trade the price action. Don't overthink that S tier level once we're up and through. We could easily fade right back. Doesn't mean I wouldn't short it. Alright guys, well, I'll tell you what, I think the energy among traders here is pretty low, so I'm gonna go hit lunch. I've really had a tremendous week. I've had a very, very good week. Today, though, there's just not much going on here, is there? So ATR is, I mean, it's holding up, but it's falling pretty fast. ATR's 39. I took one trade here. I'm sitting, well, technically red. I'm down 400 bucks, but that's pretty much, you know, I'd call that break even, red or green. So whatever. I'm you know, a little red, break even, whatever. We'll see what the afternoon brings. Hopefully we can pick up the pace here, because you see how these, forget about the red number for a second. Forget about ATR. Just look at the range, the vertical orange bars. See how that's absolutely tanked? And now we're basically, I mean, there's really no ifs, ands, buts. We're in a trading range. Right, until the bulls can convincingly take us higher and make it more of a soft bull channel. We're in a range. We're in a range, so be patient, let it come to you, man. And I'll tell you what, sometimes we have big old exciting Pharaoh Fridays, and sometimes the market seems to think that it's Tuesday or something and forgets to party. But we'll see what the afternoon brings. All right, guys, hey, I'll see you next week. All right, have a good weekend. Rest up, man. Do your job. No tweaking on Saturday night because you can't trade. I'll see you next week.